Today my topic is connecting Pakistan, the power of shared and spatial data, which is also called is Pakistan National Spatial Data Infrastructure, NSDI. So the example, if you want to imagine like Pakistan as a giant puzzle, and each department has a piece of the puzzle, for example, the roads, hospitals, forests, water resources, agriculture. So those departments have a piece of puzzle, but how do we make sure all these pieces fit perfectly? So that's where the NSDI comes in. So NSDI layers, there are a number of layers could be possible. So imagine if you start with the administrative and government level boundaries, national, provincial, union council, revenue units, parcels, police boundaries, jurisdictions, those kind of things. Even if you want to with the land and property related, there are a lot of projects going on, but they have collecting those kind of information. Agriculture, infrastructure, particularly when you see the railway, road, power lines, water lines, and gas and health. So there are so many infrastructures are there which being managed by different departments. And for example, the health services, education, and social services are there too. So that which can maintaining those hospital location, clinics, doctors' location, pharmacies, and in terms of the schools, colleges, universities, and all those other infrastructure related to education. So the number of things, and if we move on to the environment related things, so we have a flood, droughts, and landslide zones, and hazard zones, and those kind of things, and the quality of the layers are also being included in those areas. Economy and business could be have a number of potential layers they need to be maintained, and emerging data sets is coming like the Wi-Fi network, the sensors, parks, cultural, satellite, drone data. So there are a number of things which you can consider as the potential layers, and they are linked with the managed by different departments, one or two layers or more than one layers. Uh, they're maintained by their respective departments. So when we want to be operationalize this concept of NSDI at the national level, so there are debates about how you want to initiate it and who control the things. So generally we can divide the whole debate into two groups. One is a more centralized approach, and the second one is the federated approach model, and where we can see the departments are differently handle the data. So centralized is all data stores and control on one national platform, central authority, manage the updates and the quality, storage oversights and single source of the truth, those kind of things, and it's more higher level burden of the national agencies, and which makes sometimes more slower the updates. But on the other side, which is the more federated model, where the government keeps, departments keeps and update their own layer. For example, the National Highway Authority will they maintain their highway boundary, highways, roads information. But when you go to the provincial department, they will then maintain their own provincial highways, and then the so on. Those different departments will maintain their layers, but they will be compatible with each other, which they follow the common NSDI standards project protocols, including projection, metadata, quality control, those kind of things. So those layers will be compatible with each other, and they can be exchanged from one department to the other. So this process makes it so more faster. Kind of the updates, maintaining, and ownership is kind of things is well established, and data shared could be different ways, and via their department have their own services, or they could go through the centralized portal where they can share and exchange the data. But the main primary logic is they're keeping their own layer, maintaining them on their resources. It's not like one body as compared to the centralized platform where they maintain the data on behalf of some other department or with the partial involvement of those departments. So there's a two major approaches. So usually when we start something, we talked about more centralized platforms. But personally, I feel if we want to initiate something, we need to start with more federated model where each department need to be set on a set of protocols. So one body needs to be write down all those protocols and as NSDI standards by consultation with all those departments, having a different meetings, committees. They will be proposing those standards, and after once everybody is agreed, so they need to be ensure everybody is following those protocols. So they need to provide a more higher level just to be like providing the guidance and those settings, but each and every department will maintain their own information. They will be responsible, and how they want to share the information, they have their own internal protocols. So that will be the more convenient and less cost effective, like less hassle in that area. And we don't need a big infrastructure at the national level where we're talking about the huge resources, new positions, and everything. Only thing is we need a soft guidelines which every department has agreed, and they need to be maintained. So that approach will be more workable and easy to operationalize, in my opinion. So that's the way I normally suggest if you want to start the centralized. So centralized approach is where we normally stuck because we need a lot of resources, new bodies, new hiring, and there's a big infrastructure at the federal, at the national level, and which hardly is we can maintain those kind of things once, like maybe you can have a fund for the first few years, but after that it's not easy to maintain that kind of infrastructure. So you need the departments to use their own resources, which because they already have the people who maintain their data sets. So why not they just have a more what is called a standardized approach, which we have after having a consensus between the different departments, so they can be using it. So I normally start would like to be start with this approach. So the core concept behind this one is NSDI is a framework that allows every department its own special data, its own layer. So these layers follow the same rules, same map projection, coordinate system, data quality checks, and metadata, templates and formats. So this ensures that when you stack them together, everything aligns perfectly. So different data sets, when you will be overlay the hospital locations on the road network or railway line beside the hospital, and then the road network over the soil maps, over the geology, those kind of things you can see overlay, those will be perfectly aligned with each other. So it's like every department speaking the same language, so data can be shared easily without confusion. So there are a number of benefits by adopting this NSDI approach, and those benefits are huge. This could be decision making, integrated maps, help policy makers to see the full picture. And we can have agencies do not have to be the duplicate data collections or avoiding and more efficiency. Disaster management could be easy when all the data is talking the same language, and then we can understand the situation very well, and we can plan accordingly and respond them according to those situations. Agriculture and resources are will be managed accordingly when the different information are aligned with each other. It makes the work much easy. So we need to be just focused on one agriculture. For example, if you want to do the crop estimations, you don't need to be worried about the remaining things. You just need to focus on the crop estimation particular layer, and then the other layers will come from the other departments, will make your work much easy and more efficient. And there are a lot of new ideas you can start up by using these data sets, but they're talking with each other, having a similar kind of approach when they were developing and maintaining them. So in short, Pakistan's NSDI is about sharing, collaboration, and standardization. Each department keeps control of its own data but follows the same rules, so all the layers fit together perfectly. This makes governance smarter, planning faster, and data more useful for everyone, from policymakers to researchers to the public. It's a step towards a more connected, efficient, and informed Pakistan. Thank you for watching.